guys. This is Noora from Capital Simplified. So, like I promised you guys, I told you I was going to make a video of how you can maximize your experience while you're shadowing or assisting and gain the most out of it. So, what do I mean when I say gain the most out of it? One is you need to ensure that you improve your communication skills, your social interaction skills. Two, understand how dentistry is done in the US, and so that you find enough anecdotes that you can talk about in your interview. Three, you need to potentially find a recommender who can recommend you to dental schools when you're applying to your advanced dining or a specialty program. Four, you need to get resources or find networks. Now, this is a new country for you guys. You might be somebody who was born here or went to dental school somewhere else, or you just came into the country, but you need to find networks within the profession that you're getting into. And the best place for you to start is your shadowing or assisting experience. And finally, being able to find other experiences like volunteering or continuing education from your shadowing or assisting experience. So let's talk about all of these. So the first thing I spoke about was improving your social interaction or communication skills. This might not be applicable for everybody, but it's a very important aspect that you need to learn. It's something that will help you in your career. It's something that will help you when you're talking to your patients. Also, when you go to your interviews, because that'll reflect from what kind of experience you've gained back when you're shadowing. So what do I mean by this? You need to actively engage yourself with the team that works in your dental office. Go talk to the receptionist, go talk to the office manager, go talk to the dental assistants, the hygienist, the dentist. Interact with everybody. Make small talk, make conversations, connect with them. And you just kind of understand what you realize from this is that you become more comfortable talking to a lot of people, making conversations out of thin air, and you eventually also get to understand and learn about other cultures as well. Like, for example, the dental practice that I shadowed in had people from Iran, had people from Brazil, had people from Pakistan, had people from, Cuba. And what's amazing is when you start interacting with these people and you get more and more comfortable talking to them, they start sharing about their culture and you start sharing about your culture, and you get to learn a lot of different perspectives. And that just helps you become a better person, and it kind of reflects when you go for your interviews or eventually in your future as well. So also do this with your patients. This is something that comes with trust. And as you're shadowing, as you're assisting, you can ask permission from your dentist, like, is it okay if I interact with the patients? Is it okay if I talk to them? You don't always have to ask for permission, but it's nice to ask for permission, because usually dentists and and the team, they're very protective about their patients. That if you say something that might offend them or may not be right, it just will look bad on you. So take permission and talk to patients. Ask them, where are you from? What do you like about this place? Things like that. Start connecting with them, and that helps you understand more about the patient population that you're working with, and it helps you eventually to relate with them as well. So let's talk about the second aspect, which is understanding how dentistry works in the US. And that kind of comes off of what we were talking about initially, right? So dentistry is a little different in the US than how it's done in other places, in other countries, right? So what you need to do is you need to start comparing, right? You need to see what is different. Like, oh, so you're doing this technique, that's different from mine. And don't just keep those differences to yourself. Go talk about it. Talk about it to the dentist. Tell them, like, oh, so this is what I observed, this is how I usually do it. So what is the rationale behind you doing it this way? Ask a lot of questions. You don't have to feel like you're asking any silly questions. No question is silly. So just keep asking them, what is the best way for me to improve this technique, or why are you using this treatment philosophy? Can I sit in on these treatment planning discussions? Can I see how you're using that software? All of these just improves your interaction, and it also shows the dentist that you're somebody who's willing to learn. In my dental practice, the one that I went to for shadowing, it was very advanced and progressive, and they had a CEREC milling machine downstairs, and they would always make all these CAD/CAM milled crowns, and I was so interested. I never used it back home, so I asked a lot of questions about that. And in fact, the dentist, what they did was he gave me his login credentials so I could go over all of the courses in CEREC. And that gave me a lot of knowledge about how this specific technology is being used. So when I went to my interviews, I was able to talk about it, and I'm very proficient in that right now when I'm in dental school. So that's a benefit for you. Third is finding a potential recommender. Why is this important? It's important because your schools, wherever you're applying, they want to know that you have some prior experience. They want to know that you know a little bit about how dentistry works in the US. So a proof of that is your recommendation. And you can't just, I have a lot of students coming to me and asking me, I only shadowed in this practice or worked in this practice for about a month or about a few weeks, like two weeks or something like that. Can I still get a recommendation? You absolutely can. But think about how much does this dentist know about you? Does he or she know enough to write you a good recommendation, right? So people over here, they only write what they truly feel about you. And you need to ask them, like, can you write me a good recommendation letter? Do you feel like you know enough about me to write a recommendation letter? Be very honest about it. And if they say that, no, I don't think I know enough about you, that's fine. But if they say, no, I can write you a recommendation letter, that all depends on how much effort you put in to help that dentist know about you, right? So think about that. And I have people asking me, so I'm from India, should I get a recommendation letter from an American dentist or from an Indian dentist? To be honest, it does not matter, but there is this thought that runs around that, oh, maybe if you got a recommendation letter from somebody from your own country or from somebody from your own culture, maybe that's not genuine, or maybe it was easy for you to get. I don't know if this is entirely true, but I've observed some people say that. And I always recommend people to go shadow or assist in a dental practice with a dentist from a different country or from a different culture. I say that because it gives you a different experience. It gives you an extremely good exposure as well. So I feel that it's more beneficial if you go and shadow or assist a dentist who's not from your own culture. But it's entirely up to your comfort zone. If you feel like, no, I know this dentist, I think that I would be better off over here, then yeah, go for it. It's just that you need to get a recommendation letter that truly speaks of who you are. And that only comes from genuine experiences. It cannot be made up. So think about that. Now, what do I mean by a network, right? So you're coming to this new profession, and everything in the US, if you've already observed, is about networks, influence, who knows who. And I don't mean this in the sense that, oh, I know this dentist and they can help me get into dental school. It doesn't work like that. What I mean is the dental community is very close knit. So you need to kind of talk to people, go from one dentist to another. If this person connects you to somebody else, keep in touch with them, follow up with them, tell them your progress, what you're doing. And it eventually helps you in your future. Like when you're looking for jobs or when you're trying to set up your own practice, you can always reach back out to these people and say, do you have a job in your practice that I can go for? Or you can ask them for advice when you're choosing dental schools. They might be from that school, and you can ask them, can you give me a little advice on how to do this interview? So all this network is going to help you in your journey to your dental school and after as well. Now I'll talk about one last thing before I close this video. It's about how do you gain other experiences like volunteering or continuing education while you're doing your shadowing or assisting, right? So dental practices usually have a set number of days for continuing education for the team. So, and usually you have to pay quite an amount of money to get this continuing education classes, but if you show your willingness to learn, and you tell them that, oh, I really want to learn all these topics, I wish I could attend continuing education classes and things like that, the dentist might actually take you for all these continuing education classes. I always told them that, do you guys, I would just go ask, like, do you guys have continuing education classes? I'm really interested to attend some of these. Do you think I can join in on some of that? And if you're really involved and you show your commitment, they might just take you, and it'll just be free of cost, and it'll look good on your profile. You'll learn something new. And usually these continuing education classes will happen with several other dental offices coming into one place, which means more opportunity to network, more opportunity to know more people. That's one of the ways you can do it. And volunteering opportunities, sometimes the practice itself will be linked to several community service organizations where they offer free dental service or something like that, and you can get contacts from them and then go there and volunteer. Or you can find opportunities through the people over there and ask, like, do you have any openings nearby that you could go to and volunteer? And it's just, it all comes back to the network again. I can't tell you the number of times I've found amazing volunteering opportunities just from the references of people from the dental practice that I shadowed. So don't take it easily. Ask them for references. Tell them, can I go and shadow here? Can I go and volunteer here? Do you think you can refer me? So all these experiences will help you build a better profile, make yourself a better person, and set yourself up for success when to go to dental school and even after dental school. Think about the long term. I hope you all are able to make the best out of your shadowing or assisting experience. If you need any further guidance on this, please let me know. I'll be happy to talk to you. I hope this video helped you. Take care. Bye bye.